Okay, it looks like we're live. So welcome to Wildfire Tribe Happy Hour. My name is Sean.
And my name is Kylie, and we are so excited to
We're
be with
happy.
you. Yes,
It's
we're very
an hour
happy.
of happiness,
It
at
is an hour of
least
happiness.
an hour.
Yes,
Because why limit happy hour to 1 hour is what we say.
exactly.
So I think it's a good idea to start happy hour with being grateful for something, Kylie. Can you name
Yeah.
anything at all in the world that you're grateful for?
Yes, I am grateful for. I'm grateful for jacarandas.
Jacarandas,
Yeah.
trees.
It's jacaranda season where we are in Australia. It's jacaranda season, and they are spectacular. It's like having purple confetti like everywhere we go at the moment. It's beautiful.
So that's it. The first thing that comes to your mind is trees.
Trees.
And that's it.
I love
that's
nature.
Your whole world.
Yeah, I love it. And beautiful
What about
people,
me?
friends.
What about me? It isn't fair.
Yeah. So what are you grateful for?
No, what you're supposed to say is I'm grateful for you.
I am grateful for you, honey.
Like trees. Like
but now you've like that was like my next thing that I was going to say.
You're grateful less for me than a tree.
You didn't say in a pecking order. Like you didn't say from 1
it's
to
obvious
10.
That when I asked you to say what you're grateful for, you do it in an order.
I thought you were wanting me to come up with something unique.
Well, something other than trees with me above a tree would be fantastic. So I'm grateful for you.
Oh, thanks, honey.
I love you, and I'm very grateful for you, and I'm very grateful that you've been my girlfriend since like primary school and all of that stuff. And I'm grateful for all of the difficult stuff.
Yeah.
Even that. I'm grateful for the fact that I have no hair.
Really?
Yep. I'm even grateful for having no hair because I don't have to wash it. I don't have to dry it. I don't have to brush it. I don't have to worry about going to the hairdresser, the barber shop. I don't have to think about it at all. Nothing. So I am actually grateful for no hair. And I think actually no hair with a little bit of sun looks quite all right. I'm grateful for that.
Well, you do. I'm grateful that you're so handsome.
Yeah, well,
makes life better.
Makes it easier for
to
you.
be with a handsome man.
What else am I grateful for? I'm grateful that people are interacting with our happy hour and that people are typing comments, and thank you so much for doing so. Annie. Hello, Annie. Annie says, hi, I remember Annie. Annie, you didn't respond to the message or the, it's not a message, it's a comment on one of our streams. You commented something about, hello, it's good to hear your voice again. And you said something about your favorite food, which we used to make for you.
Yeah.
And I sent a message and you didn't even respond. Nothing at all. Look, you cannot. Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, all of these things do not work, do not function properly if you do not interact. Your favorite sandwich when we were out at Binaway was a toasted ham, cheese, tomato, and onion buttered on both sides with salt and pepper. And if you were hungover, and you mostly were,
I know what had to be added.
Not mostly, but what had to be put on if Annie was, oh, she's saying sorry.
Fresh parsley.
Parsley. Is that right, Annie? You don't have to be sorry. It's okay. We're just having fun. But we're grateful for Annie. We're grateful for Fred, who's also in the comments.
Hey,
we're grateful
Fred.
for anybody interacting. We're grateful for our time in people's lives, such as Annie. We had a lot of good times when we lived in Binaway with you guys, and we're also happy and grateful that we're not there anymore, but not because of any bad things. We're just grateful all around. We're just grateful for our time there and our time not there as well. So hopefully everything is going wonderfully for you and your lovely husband and the rest of your family out there at Binaway, and you're selling cars, you're getting rid of cars, and you're downsizing and you're traveling. Hopefully that's what you're doing.
Come on. So good.
And Fred, welcome aboard. It's good to have you with us again. And I can see that there's absolutely nothing wrong with your eyeballs. He says, hello, the beautiful duo. So obviously he sees crystal clear. Now, what does that say? he's also added a comment. They have barber shops that don't cut hair. If you're bored, you just mingle. Yeah, I sort of
serious.
feel bad in the main street here in Grafton where we live at the moment or now. There is a few barbers, and I do feel like when I walk past that, you know, if they're empty, they're sort of looking out for customers and they see me and it's just like, nah, not going to ever make anything out of him.
But you do have a really good beard. You could go in for a beard trim.
Well, I don't know. I really have much of a beard, but I do have quite a lengthy moustache. And maybe I could get them to, but I don't really need them to do anything. Like there, like it's not quite touching my ears. I have had it at times where it's long enough to go over my ears. So I'm grateful for my moustache. I'm grateful for my sunglasses, or your sunglasses that I now wear. I'm grateful for all of the places that we've lived. I'm grateful for all the places that we've lived and that we don't live anymore, not because of anything bad, like I said before, but I just love variety.
Yeah.
Get a beard treatment. What is that supposed to mean, Annie? What's a beard treatment? As in like something done to my beard to make it healthy, I'm assuming, so that it grows more or something. I don't actually want it to grow more. I just like it to be just as it is. What happens to me if I've got a moustache that's longer than what it is right now, or even just as long as it is, when I ride a motorbike, even though I don't have one right now, and I'm grateful for that as well, because that means that I'm more grateful for the bikes that I have had, and I'm also living in anticipation of the bikes that I'm going to have. But the moustache, when I used to ride my motorbike, the big black one that I had, Annie, and you would know that bike, if I put my screen on that bike, my moustache would go straight up and blow straight into my eyeballs and just be poking straight into my eyeballs. If I took the screen off, my moustache would be blowing back in the breeze. And it actually broke off in my eyeball once on my left eye, so that my moustache went in there and broke off a bit in my eyeball. Why am I talking about that?
I don't know.
Maybe you better say something.
No, it's great. I think you're just talking because you're like just
because I said to you before the show,
you're going with the flow, because that's kind of you're just on another tangent because you're interacting with people.
With the people that are putting up those crusty comments. Fred just put up that crusty comment and I put it straight up. So thank you for interacting. Love, heart, share, like, do all that sort of stuff, please, to help others know what's going on. And we really would like people to interact. So this is what sort of podcast is it, Kylie? Like, it's happy hour, but what sort of general topic would you say that it is?
Well, we are Wildfire Tribe and we are having real conversations about mystical things. So it's just like all of the kind of everyday things, just questions that we have about how does the spiritual aspect of our life fit into the flow
show
of everything else in
Annie says
world.
She has to go. She's giving Matt the poops. Thank you for joining us, Annie. And go and give him the poos. I'm happy with that. So it's a spiritual show. It's a discussion about spiritual things and motorbikes and beards and moustaches and guns and pigs. Welcome aboard. Who have we got? Chris, welcome. Thank you, Chris, for jumping on again. Afternoon to you. I think in your profile pic, I can't see that well. Kylie, what's in that? Is that a dog or a pig or both?
Both, I think.
Both. Yeah, what a man. He's a pig man. So welcome aboard, Chris. And so, it's a spirit show about everything, including pigs and dogs and guns and all those things. Now, what about, when was it? Last night we were watching a YouTube, and it was from a church actually in Philadelphia, Ohio.
Yeah.
What? That's your son? Hang on a second. No, that's my son. Have you changed it recently, Chris? Like I apologize. Now that you say that it's your son, I can see that is your son.
It's just a tiny little picture.
But it's a tiny
on
little
our-
picture.
It's like about that
And
big.
I do have, I actually don't have my prescription glasses on. And I'm sorry, because your son does not look like a dog.
He is such
or
a
a pig.
champion. He's such a cool dude.
Actually, today I went and renewed my license, and I realized that I've got a stamp called T on my license, which I didn't realize or remember that I had. And that stands for something to do with transportation. So I am able to like have an Uber or drive a taxi, that kind of thing. But to do that, when you go to get your photo renewed, because of that classification, you have to be able to see properly. And hey, it's Paul Courtney
Paulie.
Paulie from out of Binaway as well. Welcome aboard, mate,
on,
for a happy
Paulie.
hour. I can't sort of finish sentences or streams of thought at the moment because these people keep popping on, which is awesome. And I just keep on remembering who they are and what's going on. Hello as well to Kim and to Ali. Welcome aboard. It's so good to have you joining us from different places. Please comment, join in. We want to make it interactive. We're not here to like preach something to you and try and teach you something like that. We actually just want to talk about, we do want to talk about the spiritual stuff as well, but that fits into everything. Like Paulie, I remember when you're a very funny man, by the way. That time when you found that tailgate, and I think you gave it a name called, do you remember its name?
Oh,
I'm going to say Travis. Maybe
or
not.
Trevor.
Something starting with
was
T.
it?
Can you remind us, please, Paul?
Oh,
Well, he found a tailgate.
Taylor Gates.
Tailgate. And are you sure, mate? So Paulie found a tailgate of a trailer somewhere on the side of the road, and he decided to make it his friend for a weekend. And I think he even started an Instagram page for tail and brought him to the pub. Oh, he's got his own. There you go. He's got his own Facebook page. Has he still got his own Facebook page? Yeah. I don't know how.
He probably went into hiding in COVID.
I don't know how to slide into the spirit conversation when it comes to a Facebook page around a tailgate from a trailer. But I think what I can do is sort of segue very loosely into the last time, or one of the last times that I saw you, Paulie, I think it would have been, if not the last time, was at a baptism at Damo's place where he was living. So that kind of was a nice little segue, wasn't it? To just like go into the spirit stuff again. Not that we have to do that, but welcome. And who else have we got? We've got launch into the resurrection options. What options are they? T license is not transsexual, Fred. T license, transsexual, T-bone. That's not what the lady told me today that the T was for. She told me it was something to do with taxis, but it could have had something to do with the fact that I was gnawing on a steak whilst wearing a skirt at the same time.
Oh, I love it.
Come on, Kylie.
Yeah, you're rolling, babe. I'm just like rolling off you. But I think where you were going before was talking about our beautiful friends over there in Ohio who were actually just about to conduct some pretty wild baptisms after they had, and they do like full immersion, like water baptisms. They opened up their stage. They had this big pool in the stage, and then they gave a not a warning, but just like a notice that they basically said, anyone that's carrying, we've got some dudes that can take care of that for you. So basically that's just like, you know, in America, you can just like take your guns to church, man. Like, and they were basically saying that, you know, if anyone had guns on them and they don't want to get them wet because they really want to get baptized, that we can like put them in the little special gun area, just like we used to have at our pub. Remember, we used to have the gun room? Yeah,
but we didn't. Oh, I was going to say we didn't do baptisms, but we could have. But we did have a gun room. Legacy Church, Ohio. It's just on the screen there. Yeah, so when they baptize you in the massive big pool that's underneath the stage, they just lift up the trapdoor and they dunk you in there. because you don't want to get your gun wet, they've actually got licensed fellas to make sure the gun's empty, and a licensed person to lock it away whilst you get baptized. And they've also found out that they can baptize people fully immersed, except for their feet, if they're wearing ankle bracelets, like if they're recently out of prison, etc., and they've got ankle bracelets on. You
Because
can't
they've
get
got
those
these
things
really
fully
buff
immersed.
dudes that can hold you by the feet and literally baptize all of you except for your ankles.
Yes,
How cool is that?
it's pretty cool.
It
Yeah.
is wild.
So
we could do outback baptisms and just go like hardcore, like just come on, anybody that wants to like
kind of like, but with that same voice from that show, outback baptisms. Sean and Kylie have got to get to Darwin to do a baptism, and they've got 3 days only. Like that.
Yeah, like that. Spot on like that. That's perfect.
Coming to a town near you is heading into baptism season in the north, and it's about to get wet.
They've got to make a pass. They've got to go up the Tanami track. There's 3 baptisms that they need to be there for on Friday.
I'll help hold. It looks like we've got some assistance. I'll help you hold someone some people under the water. Yeah, thank you so much.
We've definitely known people over the years that we would have felt like doing that too.
I hear Paul is making a very good theological point here. I think that maybe we can expand upon.
Mm-hmm.
So when you get to heaven, do you still have feet if it stops at your ankles? That's a very good question, Paulie. And it's not surprising that it would come from you either. So when you get to heaven, do you still have feet if it stops at your ankles? I see. So
if you only get baptized to your ankles and your feet don't get baptized, can you get into heaven?
Therefore,
with no feet?
I am understanding that you are of the opinion that full immersion means that you get to go to heaven fully. So therefore, if you only get partially baptized, just parts of your body go into heaven. I'm really interested as to
what about when they just baptize the baby and it's just the tiny little bit there?
That's christening, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, but that is still a baptism.
Is it?
Yeah.
So it's the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Baptisms, christening. I don't think that that's the case, Paulie. I think once you're in, you're all in, mate.
But don't you reckon everyone's in?
Well, don't I reckon that everyone's in? Like even Paulie, I mean.
Yeah, even Paulie.
Like right now.
Yeah.
Can he go to heaven now?
Yeah, I reckon he can.
I reckon he can.
I reckon he's in.
I don't reckon that he has to do anything.
Yeah.
So exactly. The answer therefore, we don't really like giving answers, Paulie, at all, because answers get us into trouble. But the answer is, it doesn't really matter which part are in or which part are out. I mean, I guess souls and spirits don't have ankles. See, Paulie's preaching at us. Paulie, next week I think we might get you on the show and you can start maybe offering salvations or something like that, seeing if we can get some people to give their life to the Lord through your preaching. I mean, I guess souls and spirits don't have ankles. That's a very good point, and it's one that I should have made.
Yeah, I love it.
How come between us that we didn't know that?
I don't know. It just didn't come to me, I guess.
That's another reason why I really liked Paulie. Paulie also liked, you know what I like about him? A lot of things, but there was also the way that he liked his coffee. Did you ever remember making a coffee for him? He was very particular. Like he was very particular, not just about the strength of it so much, but the temperature. And I actually can't remember the exact temperature, but it was not hot and it was not cold. He actually liked it more on the cooler side. And it was, I can't even guess. But I like that about a person that knows what they want.
Yeah, that's why I must frustrate you so much.
56 degrees.
Because I'm pretty cruisy with stuff.
What else did I like about Paulie and Chris? Because I think Chris was on. I'm not sure if Chris is still there, but those guys, they were really good friends with each other, weren't they? And they had a really good circle of friends. I really respected that. I really like that people do that.
And that's what we were talking about this morning, because we did have a little like random happy hour this morning where we were just like so happy. We were just like, we have to jump on for an hour and go live because everything's just like so awesome. And then we started talking about where was I going with that?
I think you were just getting around to telling me how stunning I am. Or maybe you were talking about something and you noticed how stunning I am, and that made you forget your train of thought.
That's what it was.
So this morning we were talking about gratefulness. We were talking about miracles.
Yeah.
We were talking about things that have happened just yesterday to us that, Paulie, I'd barely even drink anymore. Well, Paulie, if that's the case, mate, I'm glad that we got out when we did.
Times are hard enough without Paulie not drinking too.
Yeah. Or maybe it was us that drove him to drink. I just had another flashback of a moment with Paulie and those
Royal
guys out
Wednesday.
there. Yeah. But I was just thinking of that fellow that Paulie used to be friends with, or used to work with, who he was there one day buying a coffee on that outside window, and I got back from somewhere and I looked at him and I went, what in the hell happened to you? And this mate of Paulie's had fallen over in the bathtub whilst having a shower the night before and smashed all his face, like on the tap and that. And his eyes were all black and his nose was bad. Apparently not alcohol related, that though. Maybe next week, Monday, we'll have, hang on, we've got some comments here. I probably should look at getting prescription lenses put in my happy hour glasses so that I can read. But I think it says maybe next week, Monday, we'll have to have
Hill beers and watch Courtney.
I like it. Yeah, happy hour on the hill. Happy hour on the hill. I'm assuming this hill is out near where you guys live there somewhere. Like, so if Paulie, all we need is access to internet, a good Hawaiian shirt. What else do we need, Kylie?
Yeah, that's a good Hawaiian shirt.
That's it.
And just be ready to be drilled.
Drilled?
Yeah, lots of conversation and questions.
Okay, so what do you want to introduce to the conversation, Kylie?
Well, I've just been thinking about the things that we were talking about this morning. That was basically where I was at. Just, sharing our life and sharing those stories that just inspire people, I'm actually like just pretty whacked.
So do you want me to just remind you of somewhere to start? Maybe because I guess that what this is about for us as well is sharing us and our stories with other people.
Yeah.
To inspire, to encourage, to give hope to, all of that good stuff. And so as we share our life with people, the good times, the bad times, the overcoming times, all of those things, our desire is to actually inject into the people's lives that get to watch this some desire to keep going forward if things are difficult, those sorts of things. So our testimony, our stories from the past, if we could share some of them, Kylie, one at a time, that we believe that if we share things that we've lived through, no matter how difficult they are, that not only is it a story of overcoming, not only is it just like a message for somebody who may be facing something similar, it might help you get through a tough time as well, a similar thing, but that as we share stories together, as we talk and as we listen to other people as well, that together as a combined group of people, that we can stand on the shoulders of each other's stories and that we don't all have to go through the same crap over and over and over just to get through this life that we're living. So if somebody's made a terrible mistake, if somebody's, they've lost a partner, they've lost somebody in their life, all that stuff that happens and can happen, and you've lived through it, then you sharing your story with other people can help other people get through those times easier than you had to. So
Exactly.
that's sort of where we wanted to start with. After a gratefulness spiel at the beginning of this, was
Yeah.
just to share some of the experiences that we've had in the past to hopefully inspire other people.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. And on that note, like this is my book and it is out in all bookshops. You can get it. It's called The New Now. And it is jam-packed full of all those kind of stories. And I feel like what you were saying before, that sometimes it's like encouraging one another to have those real conversations with each other to actually mean something, you know, talking about difficulties that we're facing, sometimes sharing where you're at with someone, and then, you know, sharing our breakthrough in an area can actually encourage someone that they can find breakthrough in that area too. You know, like what you were saying, standing on the shoulders of somebody else's testimony, you know, somebody else's story of like, we, you know, like when we decided to close the hotel, you know, and that was a really, really difficult decision. But, you know, sharing that and how we had to come to that space where we were, our moving forward was meaning that we needed to end something where we were and begin something else. And sometimes sharing that story helps other people find solutions for their breakthrough that they didn't realize was even an option. Because sometimes it's, you know, you can find yourself stuck somewhere because some things are not an option in a certain scenario. You're thinking, oh no, I can't possibly just close my business because it's my superannuation, or it's like my future, or I'm letting people down, and all the different things that come into it when you're trying to make decisions about what's best for your life.
Or I'm, you know, 3 years out from long service leave and I hate my job with a passion. It's driving me nuts, and I just don't even know if I'm going to make it across the line. What do you do? How do you hang on, or do you have to, or can you make a break? And what do you do to do that? You know, once again, getting back to Paulie and Chris and those guys out there, a secret in life that those guys know about is these friendships that they have, because they can share these stories with each other and discuss the goings on, and between each other help each other. But not everybody has that. You know, not everybody has a lot of friends. Not everybody has a friend. We know people, we see people in the park every day when we walk past. Sometimes we stop and talk to them, etc. And some of these people are living in the park. Some of them are living on the street, and they're not necessarily living in healthy relationship and able to have healthy discussions with other people.
Yeah. And I think too, like from where we're coming from too, like the missing piece in our puzzle, or in so many you know, is that spiritual aspect. It's like that we're multi-dimensional beings. We're not just like Paulie was saying, you know, like the body is, if we baptize the body, does that mean that only the body goes to heaven? And because we are soul and spirit as well. And I'll just read an extract from my book where I'm talking about this. And it says, so you see, you are powerful. You are powerful to choose. That is what makes this such an incredible journey. It's that choice. It means that the ball is in our court. We always have everything we need to move forward, even when it feels like we don't. And it never feels like we have all that we need, because the missing part in the equation is Him. It's God. He is the mysterious piece. He's the unknown quantity. He is the unexplainable, the immeasurable. He is the part that makes risking it all, that means not knowing and still moving forward. He is the piece that means not having all the answers, but one. How? Because I am in a relationship with the one who knows all the answers, with the great and wonderful, mysterious one, with the great I am. And I feel like that's so much of like our stories, like, you know, that are filled with all these questions, like what are we doing next? Why are we doing this? Why are we going over here? Why are we, you know, opening this business here, or starting this business there, or doing this venture, or being involved with these people, or going to that church this week and going over here to catch up with this group of people this other week, going to do this amazing bush baptism one day, and catching up with people at the Anglican church the next day, or whatever it happens to be. Like there's just all of these journey of mystery and wonder when you're tapped into the fullness of who we are, like acknowledging, oh gosh, I'm body, soul, and spirit. Like I'm walking on the earth. I'm like got all these emotions, and like, because your soul is like your mind, your will, and your emotions, and whatever other elements that encompasses. But he, like, your soul is like thinking and is like feeling things and everything. But then you've got your spirit man, who is like this eternal being. It's like the part of you that lives forever. It's the part that always was and then came and is a part of this body, and now it's the part that always will be. And we so often forget to like engage with that aspect of ourselves, or we don't even realize that we can. For a really long time, we just didn't really have that element of our relationship, did we? We didn't have those conversations where we even like involve that part of our walk. And now that we do, and it adds this whole nother dimension, I guess, of
we spoke about that last week, with the conversation around your experience with your faith all of your life, and my experience, and how all of that happened. And we can keep going over and over these things, and we certainly will over time as we keep sharing with people as well. But yeah, it's that discussion about the reality or not of what you believe about the spirit and the soul conversation and the body conversation, how that happens in a person, when that happens, obviously for me, well, obviously it is obvious for me, and it's obvious for Kylie, and it's obvious for some of the people that we know, that I had an awakening moment, if you like, in 2012, and everything changed for me from that time forward. But you were well and truly living in that space a long time before me, and it's, for whatever reason, it just took me a lot longer to understand. But once that you understand that there is an existence beyond this body stuff. Is that on camera? Yeah, poking your body. Yeah, there's just dimensions and dimensions and dimensions of conversations to be had about everything else now beyond a lifetime. We've got Vossi who's joined us. Hello, Vossi.
Hey,
welcome
Vossi.
to the stage. Like Voss, being to think and operate in my identity.
Nice.
Vossi, what do you mean by that, mate? I think I know what you mean, but I would like you to explain that. We might have to get Vossi on the screen one time too, and interrogate him, ask him some questions. Vossi's a friend of mine that occasionally comes on a Wednesday night men's discussion group that we have. If you're interested in being on that, sing out to me and we can make that happen. It's just a Zoom. It's just like this, but it's just fellas just talking about spirit stuff. So if you're interested in being on that, sing out, we can get you on there. Vossi's on there occasionally, and Vossi is a beautiful man. He's a beautiful man in every sense of the word. He's even attractive, isn't he, Kylie? Like, well, you're probably not supposed to say, or you're probably not supposed to notice, but he's actually quite a tall, good-looking fella as well.
Yeah, him and his beautiful wife as well are actually a very gorgeous couple.
Now we've got Fred on board here, and Fred says Kylie Henderson is more of a veteran. That's why Sean needs more. Good stuff. Oil of Ulay. What's oil of Ulay? I remember oil of Ulan. But
it must be extra biblical.
Could be.
Yeah.
Could be a bibiblical thing.
I love this verse. Drink deeply of the pleasures of God. Experience for yourself the joyous mercies he gives to all of us who hide themselves in him. Like, what is that? Drink deeply.
Have you got anything to share about that, Kylie? You're just going to laugh.
Yeah, I just wanted to read it because I just felt like, yeah, sometimes it's just good on happy hour just to get whacked, you know. And when I say whacked, I'm just like meaning on just the goodness and the overflow and the joy that comes out of the center of our being when we know who we are, you know, when we're intoxicated in that love wine that is like released for us, for our whole body to just be swimming in, poured out of heaven. And we don't have to wait till we die and hope that, you know, enough of our body was immersed in the baptismal waters so that all of us could pass through the pearly gates and we finally arrive in heaven. But actually, we can just be in heaven now. We can go to heaven now. We can be seated in heaven and be walking on the earth at the same time. The more we come into the revelation that we're actually always in spirit beings and we're always walking on the earth at the same time. We're actually created to be multidimensional and be able to function in all those spaces.
So what about when stuff is like, when your life is crap though, like when it feels like it's ordinary?
Yeah.
Are you living in heaven then, Kylie?
Well,
What does
I
that
think
look like?
it's like that verse you were talking about, consider it pure joy, my friends, when we face trials of many kinds, because the testing of our, how does it finish?
Sorry, I was laughing at something else. You're talking about consider it. I'll just do my Bible voice. I'll tell you who's got a really good radio voice is Fred, who's commenting there on the side. I've heard his voice and it's just like
he could have his own show.
A younger version of John Laws.
Oh, John Laws.
Yeah, it's a really strong.
So, Fred, you have to get
voice.
yourself a golden microphone.
So I can't really do that, but I'll just slip into is it the Consider It Pure Joy one?
Oh, Vossi's on Great Keppel.
No. This is for you, Vossi. Consider it pure joy whenever you face trials of many kinds.
He says he's enjoying it.
Oh, yeah, that's because he knows this Bible verse. Because the testing of your faith develops perseverance, and perseverance must, how is it, have its way or finish its work or something, so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything.
Yeah, not lacking anything. See, it ends not lacking anything.
Yeah, so Vossi's not lacking anything much, is he? Like if he's on Great Keppel Island, he's enjoying the show from Great Keppel Island. On Great Keppel Island, distance does not diminish our love for you. Keep enjoying the higher truth. You too, Vossi. Thank you for joining in, and thank you for your comment, mate. You're a wonderful friend, and I don't want to be on Great Keppel Island right now. I'm grateful that I'm not there, because that would mean that I wouldn't be able to be right here right now.
And I get motion sickness, and I went to Great Keppel when I was like, I don't know, 7 or something. And
not that
there's
anything wrong with
the
Great
boat.
Keppel. You don't have to go on boats.
You have to it's an island.
The island.
Yeah, you've got to get to the island.
She's not just in the area.
No, it says here.
Are you actually on the island?
On Great Keppel Island.
I encounter crap daily, but I won't harbour,
brood, or meditate on anything that is not from heaven.
I love
it. It's so good. And I think that is like so much of it too, isn't it? Because we talk about this as well. Like, what are we going to focus on?
Yeah.
Are we going to dwell on
the first part of the verse?
The first part, or are we going to be, and that's like that what we were sharing this morning, which most of the people on here now didn't hear anything that we talked about this morning. But it's like the being crushed, but not. Let me look that up. Was it?
It was in 2 Corinthians 4, I think. Yeah, no, Vossi is actually on the island. Vossi,
I love it.
You just enjoyed up there, mate. You deserve to. I'm happy for you. Hopefully you're swimming around, enjoying the crystal clear water, enjoying time with your beautiful wife. I don't know whether you're just on your own, like just as the two of you or not, but yeah, we wish you all the best, and we look forward to one day meeting you again somewhere. If not, we just keep on doing it the way we're doing it. That sort of brings me to the topic of this conference that we've been talking about a bit.
Yes, the
I don't know if
conference.
Vossi's going to be there or not, but there is a conference at Coolangatta, and there's one at Mildura, which is in the next few weeks. For any info on that at all, just go to our website, which is wildfiretribe.life, and contact us there. It's just a conference which we've spoken about quite a few times here, where people just like ourselves and Vossi and Paulie and Fred, and who else have we got watching? Kim, Ali, where all of you guys would feel completely at home being, and we look forward to spending time with everybody there.
Yeah.
So what is it that you're bringing?
So remember this, when we were talking about this, these are all the things that sometimes we feel. So we can feel hard pressed on every side, but not crushed.
So what's the reference for that?
Perplexed, but not in despair. Persecuted, but not abandoned. Struck down, but not destroyed. It's like we're still here, even though we've gone through all these adversities, or even though we face these trials of many kinds, even though there are difficulties in everybody's life. Like everybody faces times of grief, and we have times of difficulties. We're overwhelmed with debt. Sometimes we're faced with family issues that we don't have answers for. Anyone that's raising children or has raised children, there's challenges and difficulties in that all the time. Every child has a different personality, and it's like navigating, how do we do this? How do we walk this as a family? And anyone that's sent their kids to school, that's another whole challenge as well. And anybody that's had been employed or been an employer, all of those things have their challenges at times. And I think that, we can be overwhelmed by those challenges.
So what's the answer though, Kylie? Like all we're doing is talking about challenges and difficulties. It's not very enlightening or very happy.
No, but we were talking about how if you flip it and it's what you dwell on.
Yeah.
Isn't it? So what part of it are we dwelling on? Are we choosing to be overwhelmed? Because we've got out plenty of stories where we've been quite overwhelmed by circumstances. But then we've also, in a moment, when you change your perspective on everything, and you can actually flip those emotions and the feelings that are associated with those difficulties, you can flip that around.
Yeah. I just want to talk about something like really down to earth and plain old boring just for a minute.
Yeah, for sure. Go right ahead.
So today, but it sort of does tie into what you're talking about with difficulties and your perspective on them. So today I've been trying to get rid of a fine that's been given to me for a vehicle that I owned 5 years ago that's gone through a toll in Victoria. And this has been going on for 8 months. I got sent a toll fee, and I don't own the vehicle, haven't had it for 5 years. I tried to explain that to the people there that I don't own it. They didn't listen, so they sent it to someone else who's kept on sending me bigger and bigger fines. So now I have a much bigger fine. It's only $212 or something like that, but it's not my fine. It's for a vehicle that I don't own anymore. I've got all the evidence from the police, etc., to say to the police of Victoria now that I do not own the vehicle, and I wasn't driving it then. I haven't owned it for 5 years, and we're still going through it, aren't we, Kylie? Still trying to get out of paying the fine, even though the vehicle's not mine, and just for a number of different reasons, because it's happening in a different state to where I live. License plates. So the vehicle was registered in New South Wales. It got sold to a person in Queensland. It's now being driven around Victoria with the New South Wales plate on it, and I am getting the dramas for it. So finally today I was able to get a hold of the fellow I sold it to, who sold it to someone else, who answered the phone and told me his name, and hopefully we'll come to a conclusion. Now, the reason why I'm talking about this quite just normal everyday activity and the dramas involved with it, without going into too many specifics to bore people completely to death, but it's taken 8 months. And I would have to say that the way that I've gone about handling it is probably the most relaxed that I've handled anything like that in all my life, because I've chosen to, because I'm different to how I used to be for a start, and because every step of the way I've had a decision to make as to how much of it I would allow to ruin my day or not. Because there were times in my life where any little thing at all would just blow up, and I would make it blow up, and it would not just ruin my day, but it would ruin your day.
Yeah, I pretty much used to deal with the people on the phones.
So I've been in contact with Service New South Wales, the police, a number of times in 2 states, different people on phone calls with names who I just don't even understand what most of those people do for work. I'm convinced that they're not real humans and that they don't actually have jobs. They just tell you they're going to do stuff, but they don't. They don't actually do anything. Nobody actually seems to really care about your dilemma. So I realised today that trying to deal with it whilst I was at the local police station, that the one thing that I had to my advantage above everybody else there was eternity. I realised that if I believe the things that I believe about my spirit being and heaven and all of these things that we believe to be true, that this moment in time right now is just that. It's merely a moment, and it's not a fraction of my life, as in a fraction of the however many years your body is on earth, but it's actually just a fraction of a much larger picture of being with God before the beginning of time and after you die in infinity, so in eternity. So if my drama that I'm suffering right now is just merely a fraction of eternity, then I don't really have a concern at all. So I actually have all of the time in the world. I actually literally have all of the time in the world. So this drama, no matter what it is that I have, and that's only a small one, it's not a major problem in my life, but it's a perception of how to handle it. It's like, okay, well, the people that are responsible really for solving this issue for me, they have no time. And so they're like trying to get rid of you off their phone or out of their office as quickly as they can, because they think they have no time and they've got to get on to the next job very quickly, the next one that they don't really have time to be doing as well. But I do. And so I'm just taking it one step at a time now, just pacing it out, because I know that in the end, and ultimately, it's not a big picture problem, is it?
No.
So I think I've handled it a lot better than I would have in the past. In the past, there would have been lots of yelling and screaming and lots of stress, mainly for me and my family.
Yeah.
Have you got something to talk to us about regarding, a God-inspired, a God-breathed, a spiritual encounter, a miracle, a testimony, a story from our existence that you want to share with somebody?
Well, I was thinking about seeing angels, and I was thinking about, I was thinking about taking a moment to see if I could see something for someone that's listening.
Yes. What about this person who says, "Well done, Sean Henderson"? Sandra.
Come on, Sandra.
Have you got something for Sandra, maybe?
It's so true. Like, I really think it has been amazing how you have handled this whole situation.
That's only a little thing. Let's move on to where you were going with what you were seeing. I think that's way more important.
Yeah. So I just wanted to see what you thought about that, because I'm just going to see what I feel like. There's something for somebody.
Something for somebody.
Yeah. That's
any specifics? That's listening. That's whose name's on the side there, or somebody whose eyeball is there that we don't know.
Not sure.
Or somebody that's going to be listening. So you're talking about live or later on? Any specifics? A name?
I'm just sitting with it at the moment. I'm just seeing what I can see. So maybe you can explain to everybody that, you know, we operate like this, like a lot, just seeing in the invisible realm.
Yeah, well, it's not an
And-
invisible realm. It's a realm that you see in, that everybody can see in, that maybe everybody doesn't realize that they can see in. So it's probably just takes a little bit of practice to introduce somebody to the idea of seeing in a different way, is how I would explain it, Kylie. So as we go about our days, as we run into people, and all day today, say, for instance, we went to the cafe this morning. I left the cafe and we're walking down the street past this park. And there was a man sitting by himself this morning in Grafton having his breakfast. And I saw, I have no real other way of explaining how it is that you see these things, but I saw the name Merv, M-E-R-V. It just came across my mind. It's kind of like I kind of saw the letters, but not. It's more of a feeling or a different sense. And so it's not strictly seeing, but I sensed the name Merv. And so I went over to this man and I thought maybe his name is Merv. And I just said, "Hi, mate, how you going?" He said, "Good." I said, "Do you know a Merv?" I just thought I would try and see if it was his name, introduce it like that. And he said, "Yeah, I do, mate." And I said, "Oh, okay." He said, "Actually, I know two Mervs." So, right. So that's seeing, you know, that's seeing in a different dimension. And from there, from that conversation starting with Merv, as simple as that, even though the man's name was not Merv, led to a series of other conversations. And I'd have to say it was one of those conversations where I walked away sort of questioning what that was about, what was the actual point of it. But the point of it sometimes can be just that you've seen somebody that other people don't see.
Exactly.
The point of it being that when you look for objects, names, conversations to be had in another dimension around other people, that can be enough to spark some new type of life in somebody, that can be enough to brighten somebody's day, that can be enough to actually change the trajectory of somebody's existence. If somebody feels like their time is miserable, that nobody sees them, that nobody cares about them, maybe if you can see in that other dimension, you can become a part of their life and help to change their life for the better.
Yeah, totally. Well, even as you're like saying that, I just kept on seeing the number 9.
9.
Yeah. And I kept on hearing the name Crystal, which is interesting.
So if there's anybody that's watching right now and the number 9 or Crystal, yeah, seeing the spirit world.
I was feeling like, because where it started was I could see an angel, and I could see, and I felt like it was somebody's angel.
Okay.
And it's, yeah, and I just felt like I wanted to encourage the person that is resonating with those two things, with the number 9 and with
Crystal.
name Crystal, like whether it could be your nana, could be like your niece, like, yeah, there's oh.
Just run it across the bottom there. So the number 9, Crystal, an angel, if that's sort of ringing any bells, or as in Kylie's language, it would be more like if that's resonating with you, if that's reminding you of somebody, if you think that might be something to do with you.
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments. We can go from there. It doesn't have to be a combination of all those specifically. It can be a derivation of Crystal, Christy, angel, birthday. Yeah, birthday. We've got birthday day 9. So what else you got, Kylie? Where are you going with it?
Yeah, well, I just feel like there is grief in the situation, and I'm just feeling just to release into this person's life, just refreshment and yeah, just like a freshness and a new beginnings, like new relationship. I feel like new friends, like I can see like new friend. I'm just feeling like there's going to be new friends.
So it could be for somebody that's watching now. It could be for someone that's watching later. So what happened to us yesterday afternoon? We were watching a YouTube that was made in a church in Ohio in New Philadelphia. And this YouTube was recorded a couple of months ago. And the man that was talking was speaking about miracles in the form of some interesting things that I've never seen before, such as even just your phones, your mobile phones receiving extra charge whilst they are sitting there.
Yeah.
So I've never been around. I've never been in a service. I've never been in a conference. I've never seen that happen myself, but it was happening during the filming of this YouTube. Now, what was also happening at that time was he was encouraging people to check their phones. So whilst you're listening to us right now, let's just step into that space of believing that all things are possible, including these small miracles, such as your phone's receiving charge whilst you are sitting there watching.
Happy hour.
So what else was happening
Yes.
was that they were speaking about money coming into people's bank accounts, and it was an American thing. They were talking about credit ratings increasing as people were sitting there.
Yeah.
And there was people all through the audience going, yes, pass me the microphone.
Yeah.
This just happened. I just received $1,270. Just come up on my phone. Somebody sent me this money because we're getting married soon. And it's to pay for, I forget what it was, to pay for something in particular. My credit rating just went up 5 points. People were they were getting messages that the houses that they were trying to rent out that they own, that people just rented them right there and then in the meeting. So these really different kind of miracles that I've never been around before. I've been in healing stuff, but I've never been around that kind of thing. And so whilst we were watching that, and just remember, this was filmed a couple of months ago in America, and we're watching it 2 months later, we're also believing for these miracles for us to be happening as we're sitting in Australia watching it 2 months later. Whilst we're believing for money miracles to happen for us, somebody actually put, and it's going to sound like not much, but it's not the amount. Somebody put $5 in our account, and it's through our Patreon. Patreon is a way to support some of the stuff that we do. But it happened right there and then, just as we committed to believing for these things. And it's not a common occurrence for people to do that to us. So it's like, wow, like it's happening. It's actually happening for us. So whilst that was happening, we got interrupted by our dog. He wanted to go for a walk. So we just said, let's take him for a walk. And whilst we're on this walk, we're going to believe for much bigger miracles for us. Whilst we're on our walk, we didn't take our phones with us. We didn't take anything with us to tell us. And we just kept on speaking about it whilst we were gone for about an hour, walking our dog and expecting that by the time we returned that money miracles would have happened. And they had.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty wild, hey?
And so when we got back, that $5 that we had received from somebody before we left, we got another message just as we got back, and it was a much larger amount than $5, much larger. And so this is the dimensions that we live in. This is the reality that we live in. This is the reality that we choose to live in, that we pursue, that we are honoring, that we are learning more about, that we are surrounding ourselves with other people who are also believing these things, because that's how these things come about.
And it's also that what you were talking about earlier too, is that standing on the shoulders of the testimony of others, where we're sharing our testimonies of faith with each other, and we can actually be encouraged in that space, and we can receive those things for ourselves as we're, believing in all things are possible.
Yeah, well, in the Bible, it does talk about all things being possible. And, there's a number of people I see on the multiple screens around us that I would consider probably do know about their Bible. And there's also people that I think maybe don't, but I'm not concerned about either of those. But it does talk about in the Bible that, all things are possible. And we're talking about it yesterday morning at the cafe, or the day before. It might have been this morning. I can't remember. Like, everything sort of meshes into one. But the all things are possible thing is not all things are possible, but, that's for someone else, or all things are possible, but that's not likely to happen to me, or I believe all things are possible, but I don't really think about it too much. But I think that where it says that all things are possible means that all things are possible.
Yeah. All things are possible. All things are possible.
All things, like everything is possible at any moment.
Yep. And that doesn't just mean all the tragic, horrible, bad things are possible. It actually means all the infinite, amazing, good things are possible.
And it doesn't mean all things are possible as in, I believe that all things are possible, but they may not happen in my lifetime. It actually means all things are possible.
Yeah.
Everything is possible.
Everything is possible.
So we were talking earlier this morning on this random stream that we did just out of nowhere about miracles that had happened in our lives, and about my knee and my back being healed in a meeting when I was actually thinking about my sore back and it got healed, but I wasn't even thinking about my knee and it got healed as well.
Yeah, I love it.
Your face, like, can you break that story down for somebody without like making it a whole book? Or
well, it is in the book. Well, that was, gosh.
Because even like there's people on here, right, that I can see their names, and there's people on this screen right now who don't know this story about you and who are actually living in the vicinity of us. And they don't know this about you. Tell us.
Yeah. Well, I was diagnosed with a cancer just underneath my eye, and I needed to have it removed, basically, because it was like in a really bad position.
So you had a mole that grew bigger and bigger and bigger.
Well, I didn't have a mole. There was nothing there. And then this big thing that looked like a mole grew up onto my face. And I went and got it checked out, and they took it off, and then they called me and they said, we are going to need to operate because there's actually a cancer there, and it goes up underneath your eye and it's down onto your face. And it was quite a difficult surgery that they needed to do, and they were concerned because it was so close to my eye, and I was concerned because I didn't want it to be on my face, like getting bigger and everything like that. So anyway,
this happened whilst we were running the pub at Binnaway.
Yeah. So we were actually in quite a difficult financial situation at the time. We didn't have like a heap of money coming in or anything like that. And so I had booked in for my surgery expecting that our healthcare would pay for our health fund would pay for the surgery. And 2 days before I went in for the surgery, the surgeon called me and said that your health fund is not covering. This is like it's a different kind of cancer or something, and it's not covered, and that I would need to pay $7,000 for this surgery, and I needed to come up with that in 2 days. And we just didn't have the money to do it. We didn't have anything extra. We had no emergency savings or any of that kind of stuff at the time. And so
or ever since or ever before.
I know. And we I had to cancel it. We had to cancel the surgery, and that was like in like January, February, and this was already quite a number of months after the first diagnosis, and I'd gone through all the pre-op stuff and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, at the same time, like, long story, but I'll just kind of tell the medical part of it. We had I'm just trying to think how to best tell this.
All right. So by this stage, you've been diagnosed with a cancer in your eye.
Yeah.
It's getting bigger. It's not going away.
No.
You have to have surgery. It's in Sydney. It's like quite away from where we're living. You go to have it and you realize you haven't got the dough. There's no way of paying for it. So therefore you can't have the surgery.
Yeah. So at the same time, not long before I got diagnosed with the surgery, I'd actually been a part of this amazing conference with, and I'd been also looking into the whole doing communion, like taking communion and but not taking it like you take it at Catholic church or at normal church or anything like that, like where we take the sacraments as in remembrance of what Jesus did for us. And most people that have been in any kind of traditional church would probably understand what that means, the little wafer and the little juice or the little wine or whatever they use. But God was showing me that he wanted me to take this as the body and the blood of Jesus. So he wanted me to like consume this, and believing that what I was actually consuming was the DNA of Jesus, which is like perfect DNA, undefiled DNA, like not corrupted or anything like that, but pure DNA. And so I just started doing this, and I'd been doing it during that time from when I first got diagnosed up until the surgery, and then of course we had the cancellation of the surgery, and then it got put off basically for nearly another 4 or 5 months. And as we were getting closer toward when my surgery was rescheduled for, I kept on doing this and just believing that I was clothed in divine health and immortality. So every morning I would like get up and I would just, we were just working at our hotel, and I was cooking in the kitchen, just doing like normal stuff, cleaning and all that stuff, and we were just running our business. But I would just be feeling that I am clothed in divine health and immortality. I would be declaring it over my whole body and over my system, over my skin, like over everything that was happening, and especially this part of my eye where I was concerned about, I don't want to have this on my face. I don't want it to be getting bigger. I don't want, all of these things to be happening to my body. So I kept on just doing that and doing that and doing that. Anyway, it came to the time for my surgery. We had organized people to replace me because I would need to have like 4 or 5 weeks off after the surgery. And so I went down to Sydney, and I sat in the little waiting room, and I just felt like something had been happening, but I didn't know, because it's just one of those journeys you're walking this journey with God, and you're just hoping that something is happening, and you're just doing something unconventional that that it's just like, it doesn't really make any sense.
Now, can I just jump in there? So for those guys that are watching that were at the pub at that time, I don't even know whether you realize that this was going on. You may not. We just tried to leave our personal stuff aside and try to keep doing our job. And there's lots of things that we will talk to you about in the future about our time there, that we just really felt like we just needed to somehow soldier through, rightly or wrongly. And this was one of those things. So this was going on whilst we were running the pub. And if you were a part of the pub there, if you were a regular there, you would probably recall times when there were other people that we employed to be in the kitchen, and that was for this reason, was to try and replace Kylie, give her enough time to be able to have her surgery and recover. So you're in Sydney, you're about to go into the operation second time round. It's been months and months and months overdue because we didn't have the money in the first place. You've driven all the way to Sydney on your own.
Mhm.
I can't go because I've got to stay and run the pub. And we're just believing for what?
Well, we're believing for miracles. And so I got down, I had my pre-op appointment, which was like the day before, and I went into the surgery and sat in the little room, and they called me in, Mrs. Henderson, come in. And I sat down, and the surgeon just said to me, do you know why you're here? And I just said to him, I'm here so you can tell me that I don't have cancer anymore. And he said to me, this is a diagnosed cancer. Cancer doesn't just disappear. And he proceeded to pull up all the photos that they'd taken of like where it was and what it looked like. And he was just talking out the surgery with me and what they were going to do. And then he said to me, well, let's have a look. So he just pulled me over closer and just started looking and prodding around and everything like that. And then after a couple of minutes, he said, I'll just get you to come into this other room. And so I went into the next room, and they had like this giant big machine in there, kind of like what Sydney optometrist, like where you put your face up on one of those things. And he's got like this microscopic, he started looking at my face like really, really, really close up. And he looked and looked for about, I don't know, it was a number of minutes, maybe even 5 minutes. And then he just pulled the big thing aside, and he just went, I can't do your surgery. And he said, because you don't have cancer. And I was like, what? And he was baffled because he's sitting there on his computer screen is all the pictures of all like of the cancer. It's like the picture of all of the stuff that had been going on in my body and where the surgery was going to be. And I'd already had one consultation with the other surgeon because there was two surgeons that were going to do it together because it was like quite an intricate procedure. And and there I was sitting in the surgery just going, oh my gosh, I was so emotional. And he took me out to the counter and he said to the staff, he said, oh, we've got a bit of a problem. We need to cancel Mrs. Henderson's surgery because she doesn't need it anymore. And I think he was spitting out. I don't think it was a very usual thing to happen. And I just got outside and called Sean, and I just said, babe, like, you'll never believe it. Like, they said that I don't have to have the surgery. The cancer's gone. It's not there anymore. And it was just one of those wildly emotional and
it was, and I was crying,
crazy.
of course. And I was actually in Kula, and I was in Kula with Shane. For those guys that are watching that know who Shane is, I actually was talking to Shane today as well. But on that day when Kylie rang up, I was just on an outing in Kula with Shane, and she rang me, and I was just crying. I can believe it, but it's one of those things that even though you're believing for these things to happen and to be true, that all things are possible, still when they happen, it's a really emotional time.
Yeah.
And Kylie, she didn't come back to work. There was a little, I guess for us, there was this desire to celebrate if it was to come about. And so for those of you, again, who were at the pub at that time, you may not realize that this happened, but Kylie disappeared for a week and she went to England.
Yeah, that was another miraculous part of the story as well, that was woven in right from the beginning, which kind of was part of my encouragement to even start engaging with what I believed was what I needed to do, which was to, to take the body and the blood just like they were the DNA, and just to be, it's like that soul spirit body journey where they're becoming one, and you're realizing that the energy that is released out of that place of like that faith, that you can have to believe that our body is actually going through this process of all of the corrupted parts of it being removed by believing that it engaging with uncorrupted DNA could possibly make that happen to my body, just with normal bread and normal juice or normal wine or water, or basically I was just communing with every meal that I had for that, all of those months and months, and just believing that. And that's not a formula. That's my story, that's my journey that my relationship with God took me on, that he was whispering to me. And, that's like he wants to whisper to you as well, like whatever it is that your unique pathway is, what it is that is going to bring you into your place of open space healing, like your place of whatever is going to bring you a breakthrough, like whatever it is that is going to make you come alive.
Yeah, that's right. It's not a formula. It's not like every time somebody's got a cancer, do the same thing, but it could be.
Chris said the
And it's really good that, Chris, you're so sensitive when you hear a miracle story like that. You must just be so used to these stories all of the time that all he cares about is the fact that during that time that the burgers changed. As in, they changed for better, Chris, or for worse? Hello, Janet. Welcome. Thank you for watching us. For anybody new, fire off a love heart or a thumbs up. I know that sometimes when I watch other people's lives, you can hold your finger on the button and send up those love hearts. Oh, you can do it on ours too. I'm doing it on ours. It's kind of fun. So that actually helps. It helps other people to see what's going on. So it's really helpful for us if you can just do those things. If you want to interact, if you want to ask questions about anything about that story that Kylie just shared, if you want to tell us whether the burgers were better or worse, sorry, just stating a fact that got left out. It's all good, mate. You're welcome to do so. We look forward to interaction with people. That's something that we love. It's not necessarily something that we have as much of as we did when we were in our pub existence. Now we live in a house just with us, just with our kids, and we have a pretty solitary existence, really. It's a lot different for us, so we do enjoy the interaction. No, Paul is just stating a fact that got left out. Yeah, it should be in Kylie's book, actually, that during the healing of her face from cancer, that the burgers at the pub got far worse.
Worse?
Oh, were they worse or better? Will 40 hearts help you Yes.
Yes. Come on, Fred.
I think
40
so,
hearts
mate. Fire off some hearts.
Come on. Fred's giving
I think that
hearts.
you should just be firing them off constantly anyway. Love hearts. You can do, you've got thumbs, hearts. Oh, there they go. Look at them flying up in the air. You've got that. What's that one called? He's doing a hug.
The caring
You've got
one.
the laughing one, the wow, the crying one, the angry one. So it probably doesn't matter too much as to which one you want to fire off. Just fire them off. They're fun to watch. They're on my screen anyway. And Janet, people like that are watching that are maybe unable to communicate, or you think you are, just try typing hello on your screen. Just type hello and we'll see if it comes up on our screen and you can ask us a question. So we've got, so that's the story of Kylie's face. So the reason why we share these stories of healings, etc., and miracles in our life is so that you believe that they are true, so that they can happen to you as well, and greater things.
Exactly. And the beauty of sharing our own stories with each other is they're our stories. Like we're not like we're sharing something that's actually really happened to us.
Hey,
and that's really, really powerful.
Here's a blast from the past.
Hey, Buzz.
Buzzle.
So good to see you on.
Welcome aboard, mate. It's so good to have you on. I can see your face there. You look just the same as you did. Now, when would we have seen Buzz lately? So Craig Burrell, his nickname is Buzz. Thanks for joining in, mate. Fire off some questions. Say hello. Let us know what you're thinking about, and we'll be able to see that on our screen. The last time we would have seen him,
20 years?
Have to be.
Yeah, it'll be a while.
So I would have had hair.
No, I don't think so. I don't think you had hair.
Not that long ago. Did I have hair, mate, back then, 20 years ago? I can't wait to try 27 years ago. you reckon?
27.
So 27,
Wow,
mate, it's
that's
good
pretty
to have you
wild.
join us.
Mm.
This is a show, a spiritual discussion. So we call it Happy Hour because we've been in and out of pubs as you have, and as we have with you as well for more than 27 years. And we've been around many happy hours, but kind of different to what we're presenting now. But we just do want to borrow that name to just sort of sow a seed that we can still have fun and talk about spiritual stuff. You can drink and join this show. You can interact and drink. We don't care. Actually, I just don't care at all about any of that whatsoever. Drink, get a drink from your fridge, sit in your favorite lounge and join in the show. Just be relaxed. And let's talk about spiritual stuff, God stuff that's happened in your life that you've heard of. Or else we'll share stories about things that happened in our life. We've had a phenomenally rich, more than the last decade of just encounters and happening, so much so that it's sort of on a daily basis, so much so that you don't really realize that you used to put some things in the miracle category. And now we don't necessarily do it because it's just our everyday life.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I just love the miracle space. I love the little tiny things that can happen for people and the wildly amazing things, because all of it matters. All of it's amazing.
Wow, here's a lot of words that actually have come up. It's awesome. So Kim, thank you for sharing. It says, years ago now, I was praying with a friend who had pain in her finger joints. I sensed some purple ribbons come down from the heavenly realm. So that's what we're talking about, guys, when we're talking about seeing in another dimension, for people that are not used to that kind of language. So I sensed some purple ribbons come down from the heavenly realms and wrapped around her fingers in a figure of 8. The pain went. Just sent her a message now to see if she's had pain since. And she said maybe a couple of, what's that say?
Fingers?
Fingers once or twice a long time ago, but all good now. A different kind of miracle. Yeah, a different kind of miracle. It's like miracles have to be in some category, that we call them a miracle because they happen to your body. But when your phone gets its own charge and it's not even plugged in, we say that's not a miracle, or that's some other kind of miracle. Like, it's just a miracle. All of these, what's the definition of miracle, Kylie? We've done this before. How about I do that? Winged equals twinges. Couple of twinges.
Yeah.
So why don't you look up
once or twice a long time ago,
the definition of miracle?
Yeah, I'm going to do
or
that.
Somebody else can, and maybe somebody else can do that quicker than us and just put it on the comments, and then we can just borrow that off you. Because we've spoken about this on our podcast. We actually, if you don't realize, we do actually do a podcast that comes out every Friday as well. It's called Wildfire Tribe, which is just like the logo on the screen there.
Yeah.
And we've talked about miracles and the definition of, etc. Have you got it there?
Yes, I do. I love this too, and this was a cool podcast. If you want to listen more, we've got a whole podcast on Wildfire Tribe. Just jump on all the podcast platforms. We talk about wild stuff because we're Wildfire Tribe. It says an extraordinary and welcome event that is not explicable by natural or scientific laws and is therefore attributed to what? A divine agency.
A divine agency.
I love it.
Yeah, so it's like what we were talking about yesterday with money going into our bank account.
Good.
That just happened by itself. We didn't do anything. We didn't ring anybody. We didn't have a conversation. It was something that doesn't happen normally. It wasn't a regular payment or anything like that. For it to just happen, via divine agency, just of its own accord.
And a divine agency, you can actually picture it and frame it up like what you see in the movies, like it's like this undercover agency that is like that is filled with the angelic, like with angels, and you've got like spiritual beings, and you've got people from the cloud of witnesses, and you've got all of these people that are for us, that are actually waiting to be on assignment to work with us as like these awesome human beings that are like walking the earth, that we actually can interact with these divine agencies, and that out of that place of friendship and just, it's like all those strange things that happen. I mean, everybody would have those moments of synchronicity or like deja vu, or, when you feel like, hold on a sec, like I was just thinking about that person and then they just sent me a text message and I haven't even talked to them for 6 months. Like it's all those crazy things that kind of happen that you think, hold on a sec, there's something more that's going on. There's something more that we can possibly tap into. And
I've just realized something's going on in the comment section and that takes me back to my pub days. So I just realized somebody's asked a question, or Craig says, no idea what you mean by that. And I was going to ask Craig, what do you mean by that? Have you got a question? And I think he's interacting with someone else in the comments who's a very funny person. So it's like directing traffic in the comment section. So obviously, as you type comments at all, other people that are watching can see them as well. So Craig, I think somebody's just having a joke with you. If that's what the interaction seems like, that's probably what it is. Fred, I think that's what's going on, isn't it? And that's all cool. So I guess, anybody in the comments we can put up on the screen for everybody to see now, but the comments are actually of course, like just on Facebook all of the time as well. So comment away. It doesn't bother me, but I just wanted to make sure that people within the comments know that everybody can see them. Aussie drunks can just, oh dear, oh Fred. Yes, they can, all sorts. We might try and get back on track. Craig Burrell, yes. Why don't you? So it's been 27 years since we've seen each other. Mate, I hope that you're well. I hope that your life is a life more abundant now than it has been at times when there's been difficulties. I know from a distance that there has been, and that's not unique for anybody. Everybody has difficulties throughout their life on and off as well. Mate, I genuinely hope that right now that you're in a good place.
Yeah. And, like I feel like too, just in this moment, I've just got memories of so many different people that we've walked with in our life right back from school, because we met at school. So we know a lot of people, the same people from our whole life. It's not just like little pieces of our life or since we met, but it's like our whole life. We have got woven in this tapestry of hearts of people that we've shared pieces of our walk with. And I would just love to like declare over you guys as a body of friends, as a body of people that we've known and walked with for our entire existence, just more life and life in abundance, more breakthrough, more wonder as we're moving into these new places, like just space to find the authentic you, to discover the fullness of who you've always been, and to just embrace the person that you are now. Just love that person that you are. Just to let go of all of, especially like, we're late 40s, where lots of people we know are in their 40s, 50s. Yeah, your early 50s. Like, we're walking in this place where a lot of people can be overwhelmed by the things that haven't happened in their life, the stuff that we didn't get to do, the things that we should have done. But there's
still time.
That's it. And we can sit underneath regrets that we have, or we can just not let those things be a part. Like everything that has been a part of our life has brought us to this moment. And in this moment, we are more than enough. Like, you are more than enough. You are loved exactly where you are. This is just like, there is this beautiful wide open space for us to see one another in this place and to know and just to affirm to one another that we're loved. You're loved.
Yeah, there you go, Craig. I'm doing okay. Definitely in a better place than 27 years ago. Yeah, totally, mate. Totally get it. Totally do. Like
Yeah.
we did that with you. We were alongside you. We don't forget that. I actually don't even have concerns about the things from the past at all, because they make you who you are now,
Yeah.
and including me. There's things that are probably, looking back, I kind of wish that if I had my time again, I might do them different. But they're done now, so I'm not staying there. I'm not living there. But mate, our friendship was very unique. All of the guys that we used to hang out with at that time, we had a really strong bond. You know, we spent a lot of time together. We definitely did a lot of things that were probably, you know, on the riskier side of things in many ways. But we're all still here. We're all still going. And as you say, you know, you're always learning, always growing, and it's good to have you join us. And I'm grateful for knowing you, because you've made a part of what we are now, just by interacting with us. So I'm doing okay. Okay is not good enough, but mate, I am not okay with okay. I think that we need to declare more peace, patience, kindness, gentleness, self-control, all of those fruitful parts of the Spirit, that they would enlarge in your life as well, that all of those goodies that come, that are spoken of in the Bible, none of those things that we used to do together that were really just sowing seeds of misery, that none of those things would have any growth in your life ever again, but only the good stuff, mate. That's what we want for you. And that's what we declare over you. It's good to have you join us. Thank you to somebody else that's kind of newer in our life, somebody we've only met in the last probably 12 months, Justin Varco. Thank you, mate, I can see that you're watching. So even if you're like, oh, no, I didn't think he could see me, or you're not commenting or anything, I know that you're on. So please just type in hello in the comments. For anybody that's joined us that we haven't seen, we don't mind if you don't want to interact with us, except for maybe just, do like Justin did and do a thumbs up or something. It's not just to help us sort of keep going and give us energy to have things to say, etc. But it also just helps the old algorithm stuff with other people noticing. G'day, he says, g'day, mate. G'day, Justin. So Justin is much newer in our life than Craig, who's like 27 years ago and more. So completely different experiences from opposite ends. In the same way, Craig, like Justin doesn't necessarily, we can tell him the stories of some of the things we used to get up to, but thankfully he wasn't there. And thankfully he gets a different version of us, which hopefully is better.
Oh, I love it. Well, the one thing too, like I feel like I just want to embrace more is like this happy hour vibe, like this whole thing about seeing fun, like having more fun. We have to work at it sometimes because it's easy to go to that place where everything's just so serious. We've got serious matters and serious things need to be taken care of, and all that.
That's why I started out tonight with gratefulness.
Exactly.
Do you remember when I came straight on and I just started saying
and then
things?
I said Jacarandas and you didn't like my answer.
No, I didn't like when I said to you, what are you grateful for? And you said Jacarandas. It's like, but what about me? Your first answer from now on. So just if I ever ask you again.
Always has to be you.
Yeah. So just say, do you mean what am I grateful for after you?
It's such a given though.
No, it's not.
I know.
Not when you're going through times of suffering and trial. And Nadia's on as well, is she?
Hey, Nadia.
Have you got a Nadia song? Nadia. No, that doesn't work. You're the singer.
You're the one that's singing.
Yeah, I know. And I can't sing. I feel like there should be a Nadia song. Maybe we'll work on it because we're going to see those guys in a couple of weeks live, like really, like not just on a screen.
Yeah. On that note, reminder, if you are in the Mildura area on the 10th, 11th and 12th of November, get yourself some tickets, guys, because we are going to be a part of an amazing gathering with Justin Paul Abraham and Nancy Cohen and
Shannon Bates, Rebecca
Yeah.
Milne.
it's just going to be absolutely out of this world. It's going to be a wonderful, joy-filled time of just hanging out with amazing people and beautiful friends, making new friends, and
Go
just
to that down there.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on. There
that
we go.
one there.
hwob.au.
Yeah. And get your tickets, guys.
That's a website.
Yeah.
And that stands for Hub Without Borders. Go on there and get your tickets. It's a 3-day event. So Friday night, all day Saturday, half day Sunday in Mildura,
Yeah.
10th, 11th, and 12th of November.
And it's going to be amazing.
It'll rock your
Like,
world.
it's
It'll
going
change
to
your life.
be amazing.
It's not far away. Even if you live in Queensland, it's only 1,500 Ks or something like that down to Mildura. Get in your car and drive. It'll change your life for the better.
Yes.
So we look forward to seeing you there. Your tickets are available, hwob.au, $190. Chris, who was on here last week, I'm not sure if Chris is still on or not, actually offered to buy a ticket for anybody that was unable to go, as he is unable to go. So that offer is still on the table. It hasn't been claimed. If there's somebody that wants to go that hasn't got the dough to buy the ticket, we can make that happen through Chris. Sorry, Craig, I once chopped my... Oh, no. Looking forward. Kim says she's looking forward to Mildura. She's planned a road trip on my way. Any national park recommendations on route from Melbourne? Or from Melbourne to Mildura? I don't know that part of the world that well myself, so I can't recommend anything. Anybody that's watching, you can see the question on the screen. Type in the answers there, guys. Craig, thank you for joining us, mate. Bedtime, guys, 4 a.m. wake up. Thank you so much, and we hope that we get to see you again on this or somewhere else. Thanks for joining us, mate.
Thanks for joining us. Sleep well.
So anybody got a recommendation for national park visit somewhere between Melbourne and Mildura for a road trip?
Well, when we were doing like our big tour,
I reckon Fred might.
We were visiting all the big things.
Hmm.
There was this amazing national park down near there that we were going to visit too, but that we didn't go there because we broke down on the Nullarbor.
Oh, yeah. Grampians. Here we've got some Freds come up straight away. The Grampians.
Yeah, the Grampians. That's the one.
So so there's a recommendation. Kim, I'm not sure if you looked into the Grampians or not. We sometimes go on magical mystery tours. And we just hop in the car. I know that you've got a destination, which is Mildura, but sometimes we don't, and we just hop in our car and our motorbike and just ride or drive. And it's really just governed by the amount of time that we think that we have, and sometimes it's governed by finances as to where or how far we go. But we go on magical mystery tours. You could try a magical mystery tour. Just go in the general direction of Mildura and see where you get taken. Chuck in a couple of rights or lefts. Get to an intersection.
Yeah, I love that. I'm leaving the week before Mildura. See where I go.
Just get to an intersection and just ask Holy Spirit which way, left or right.
Just don't keep going right though, because you don't want to end up in Queensland. Not that you don't want to go to Queensland.
Mildura,
just not when you want to be in
Mildura is as flat as a tack. Why not double back via Flinders Ranges or the Barossa? There's a recommendation for you, Kim. So you get answers for all sorts of things on this happy hour show. It's not just the spirit stuff. It's not just the miracles, the fleshy ones, the money ones. It's even directions. It's interactions with people from our past, people from our now, and people from our future, people that we've not actually even met ever are on this screen joining in the conversation.
Yeah, I love it.
It's amazing technology.
Yeah, it's so
What else you got, Kylie? You got a topic?
Well, I just love it. I just think it's been an amazing night. I've just enjoyed the conversation and and I feel like, doubled up to with everything we shared this morning, which was a pretty power-packed hour that we had at 8 o'clock this morning.
Mm.
That feels like an eternity ago now.
Yeah, so we did one of these at 8 o'clock this morning because we just felt like we had something to share, but we also we're aware that there's people in other parts of the world that are also interested in connecting with us, etc. Looking forward to seeing y'all. Sandra's got the y'all going on, the
Y'all.
American y'all.
I love
Yeah,
y'all.
we're looking forward to meeting you, Sandra. We haven't actually even physically met, have we? Well, I haven't. Have you?
Yeah, I have.
Oh, you have?
But
A while ago.
I haven't got to really talk.
We are really, really looking forward to spending some time with you, Sandra. We really
definitely.
are. For many, many reasons. We just feel like you're a person that's important to us, and we feel like you're a person that is important to a lot of people that aren't necessarily geographically close to you.
Yeah.
And we're looking forward to being geographically close to you as well.
And I feel like I've met a lot of people that I might not have even met, because I just feel so close to some of the people that we have a lot to do with, even online. Like, it's bizarre. I feel like I know some of these people like I've known them for a really long time.
Yeah, I know. We've had that before too, where we interact with people online for a long time and then you actually do meet them. We're really looking forward to meeting you, Sandra. That's if we make it to Mildura. Kylie, are we going to Mildura?
Yeah,
are you
we're going.
We're going. We are going to Mildura. There you go. You heard it here first.
All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us. Thank you, everybody that just come and spent Monday night happy hour hanging out with the Wildfire Tribe.
Yeah.
If you want to know more about us, jump on our website, wildfiretribe.life. If you want to come to Mildura with us, it's hwob.au. And if you just want to keep hearing the voices, then jump on any podcast platform, iTunes, jump on Spotify, jump on iHeartRadio, or any Google Play, Amazon Music, any of those, and you will find Wildfire Tribe podcast. And we have got a gazillion different topics and different thoughts that we talk through on there, and you can just listen to that in your car. You can listen to it on the way to work. You can listen to it when you're vacuuming the house. You can listen to it at the beach on a Saturday afternoon. And that
comment on the bottom of the screen is typical of people that we interact with these days. I met Sandra once years ago, but she is such a long distance virtual encouragement to me. She has an amazing presence. I'm looking forward to face again.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And
I feel like that about you, Kim.
Yeah. And I don't think that I've met you, Kim, but I'm looking forward to meeting you as well.
Beautiful.
And thank you so much for listening. Thank you for joining us. Please, anytime you see anything around the place, regarding the Wildfire Tribe stuff, just click on the share it with your friends, send it in a message to somebody. It really does help just to lift our profile in some of the places where we're wanting to be noticed, to make this easier for us to do. So thank you to everybody, and we look forward to seeing you again another day.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. Thank you so much. Have a bliss-filled evening, or if you're in the US, have a bliss-filled day.
Bye.
Bye.